South America is staggering in its diversity, in its landscape, and its people. Take, for example, the Chagras, or Ecuadorian cowboys, who play an important part in Andean culture.
Hola, gracias.
That's why it can be frustrating to decide exactly where to go.
Gracias. But there is a certain country that just about embodies all the elements that make South America an amazing destination. Now, this country also happens to be the size of Colorado, so environments and peoples that seem worlds apart are sometimes just a few hours drive away. Today we are in the Northern Hemisphere, we are in the Southern Hemisphere. We are in Ecuador, South America.
Gotta take a chance where everything is wild and free. The world is wide and I am flying high. 'Cause you're with me. Ooh, you don't you know? Let's take a ride. Come on, let's go.
Ecuador, in the northwest corner of the continent, is one of South America's best-kept secrets. My first stop is going to be at a significant location just 15 miles south of the capital city, Quito.
Ecuador in Spanish means equator, and I'm standing on it right now. I mean, this is more than just a cheesy photo op. This is pretty cool, folks, because where I stand, I am now equidistant from the North and South poles. I've got my right foot in the Southern Hemisphere, my left foot in the Northern Hemisphere, and I'm at a point where the Earth is at its widest. The Earth is not perfectly round. Like us, it actually has a little bulge around the belly. Now I gotta have someone take a picture of me. If only I could move. The centrifugal force of the Earth is too great. I'm kidding.
Where the actual equator is, well, a little confusing. This is La Mitad del Mundo, where most tourists go to take their picture by where the equator was believed to be in the 19th century. Now, the GPS today puts it here, within this part called Intinan Solar Museum. While here, you can participate in a variety of strange experiments involving water, eggs, and your own strength that are only possible here on the equator. Now, at first, I thought this was pretty hokey, but by the end, I was really intrigued.
Vamos a fijar en la superficie del lavabo.
Now, we all know, don't we, that in the Northern Hemisphere, water runs out of the sink counterclockwise, and that the opposite is true in the Southern Hemisphere. But just look what happens when you are exactly between the two. Straight down the hole. Move the entire experiment a few feet south, and
Es muy importante cómo yo coloco el agua para poder dar el efecto. Por encontrarnos muy cerca de la línea, es muy difícil de ver las fuerzas naturales. Acá vamos a ver una demostración. En el sur, como les mencioné, es en sentido horario, clockwise, ¿sí? Como las agujas del reloj.
So now I'm in the city of Quito, which is in the northern highlands of Ecuador. This cable car is a relatively new addition to the Ecuador scene, and it allows you some incredible views, which I discovered makes a popular ride not only with travelers, but with locals too. While I was in line, I met Alfonso, a Quito native.
This is gonna be a fun ride.
I'm going up something called the Pinchincha.
So we're actually heading up a volcano.
Yeah, Ecuador has a lot of volcanoes, and one of those volcanoes is the Pichincha, where we are now going there.
Is it active?
Is it active? Yeah. There's many volcanoes in Ecuador.
So this could be a real thrilling cable ride.
Yeah.
This is my first time to Ecuador, and the weather, I haven't figured it out yet. It's sort of spring-like.
In Quito especially, it's like spring all year round.
And that's just like, as you were saying, in Quito, if you go, say, 2 hours south, it's going to be warmer.
The climate change I would say every 50 kilometers, you have another climate, even if you stay in the Anden mountains.
So bring a scarf and sunscreen.
Yeah.
You never know what to expect.
You never
here.
know what to expect, yeah.
Whew. little chillier up here, but as you can see, we are looking down on Quito. Clouds are coming in, but that's no problem. You can still see that it's this beautiful, peaceful city nestled in a valley formed by volcanoes. Just gorgeous. And at 9,000 feet, it's one of the highest capital cities in the world. Also makes a great base to explore all of Ecuador. And wow, whew, the elevation really gets to you. I'm gonna real shortness of breath here. Down in Quito at 9,000 feet, you feel it. And up here at 13,000 feet, you really feel it. I think at 10,000 feet in an airplane, don't they have to give you oxygen? So see if we can do something about this.
There's a handy oxygen bar nearby, and this really helps with altitude sickness. But I've also found something entirely new to me.
Ah, look at this. There are all kinds of flavors you can choose too. I'm gonna try uplifting. Oh my goodness. Oh, now that's the stuff. I'm already feeling good. Okay, just give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna get all hopped up on oxygen, then we're heading down to Quito. They also have sex on the beach. What a strange nose flavor that is.
Coming up, I go exploring in Old Town and get some of the flavor of Ecuador. Out wandering the charming back streets of Quito, Ecuador, I came across this procession honoring their Saint Maria, one of many such celebrations that often take place around the city.
So I'm walking down a street called La Ronda, and this used to be the Bohemian district of Quito. This is where all the artists and writers lived. The area is great. There are some cafes here, some shops that you definitely want to check out. I'm here, however, to have what is known as the best empanadas here in this city, but the restaurant doesn't have a name, so I've just been given a number, and they all look like private homes to me, so I'm like, how do I go in? Oh, 7, that's it, huh? That's 2 numbers. Oh, I guess we should just go in. Hola, buenos días. ¿Es empanadas aquí? Sí? Oh, gracias.
Buenos días, ¿en qué le puedo ayudar?
Oh, buenos días. Una empanada, por favor.
En este momento, ¿ya?
Gracias. So of course the language here is Spanish. Not a lot of English spoken, so you will need to get, a phrase book or have a few phrases that you know. I'm a big advocate of trying to speak the language. I botch it all the time, but I have never been met with anything other than a deep patience and appreciation. So go ahead, try, botch Spanish. Empanada grande, ¿sí?
Grande.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Jugo de guanábana.
Oh, gracias. Juice of the guanabana. I'm not sure what that is. Gracias.
Buen provecho.
Thank you. What could this be filled with? This is huge. I think it's filled with nothing. Let's see, I'm just going to use my hands. Looks like cheese is in there. Oh, that is fantastic. I've never had an empanada quite like this.
Because of its architecture, Quito, Ecuador has a real time standstill look to it. Now, a few years ago, believe it or not, this was not a pleasant place to be. Even the locals didn't want to come here. Walking around, though, all I'm experiencing is a beautiful city that is extremely pleasant to be in. When UNESCO first began awarding its World Heritage Sites back in 1978, Quito was one of the first on the list. I met up with Ramon Andrade, a very knowledgeable local guide who gave me a tour of Old Town.
So this is San Francisco Square.
Yeah, the full name of the city is San Francisco de Quito. So San Francis was their foundation patron, really. So this became the most popular icon really of the city.
And the monastery is right
and
behind
the
us
monastery,
here.
which is the largest in the Americas.
I think what strikes me most about Quito is not just its beauty, but its size. I mean, this
Yes,
is very large.
Exactly. It's formed by 320 blocks, and in fact,
That's why I'm so tired.
Yeah, well,
I've been walking and walking.
you got to walk a lot
really
around
do.
here because there's a lot to see, of course.
So it's pretty safe here.
Oh yes, absolutely. And last years the city has changed a lot. Now the city provides a lot of security and so forth. So it's good walking around, exploring your day or even night.
Right.
You can come around perfectly fine. Yes.
Are you ready for an ice cream?
Oh yes.
Hola.
Hola, hola. ¿Qué sabores tiene? They have guanábana, which is similar to the castor apple. It's a tropical fruit.
Okay.
Yes. And probably the red one is raspberry, I think. This is actually homemade ice cream for one thing, right? You
So
know.
all the children know this man's face.
Oh yeah.
This looks good.
Gracias, don Manuel.
¿Cuánto? $2.
Yes.
And this is an interesting point here. They use the American dollar here.
Yeah, that's all the
That's
currency we
wonderful.
use. So you don't have a problem with changing or calculating. or-
Right.
Yeah, it's everything is quoted in dollars, and the dollar is the only currency we have in the country right now.
Ecuador has a great mix of people. It's mainly mestizo, or people of mixed Spanish and indigenous heritage. And then there are the Andean peoples, unmistakable with their felt hats and peacock feathers.
So I can tell we're now at the heart of everything.
Yes, this is the actual heart of town, the Independence Square, or so-called also Plaza Grande, the big square, the big plaza.
Plaza Independence. Your
The
independence was gained here? or-
Exactly. In fact, Quito was the first city declaring independence from Spain in all the Americas back in 1809. So this monument here, Sam, it represents all the effort for the independence campaign. You have the condor and the lion, they're all icons that rule the society and the whole independence movement.
Now, this is the capital of Ecuador.
This is the capital of Ecuador,
Are the
yes.
government buildings around here?
Oh yes,
Beautiful
all around
buildings.
here you have the presidential house right in front. That's his
Ah,
offices,
okay.
in fact. and
Is he
big-
there right now?
I'm pretty sure, yes,
Okay.
yes. It's a regular working day, so that's his offices.
It was here that Ramon told me that the people of Ecuador actually have the power to strike and force their president out of office.
So we take things easy and somehow permissive. But once Quito picks up, you better watch out, because the moral power of it is tremendous now.
Well, you've got this big plaza to fill.
Ramon led me through one of Quito's many beautiful hidden courtyards because he told me he wanted to explode a myth.
Okay, so and this is the Panama hat, which
Right.
has a funny name, really, because they're not original from Panama.
They're not.
They're actually made in Ecuador, and Ecuador is the homeland of these straw hats.
Ecuador makes the Panama hat.
That's right.
So why do they call it the Panama hat then?
Because the first time they were known abroad,
Yeah.
they were given to the workers of the Panama Canal. So it's that association, you see. But
That's
they're
right.
original from Ecuador. That's the only place where these hats are made.
That must be so frustrating for a country. This could be your defining export, and it's named after another country.
It's frustrating indeed to see the women, the artistry, and the materials for these hats all coming from Ecuador and Panama getting all the credit. I simply could not let the charade go on any longer.
This is no longer the Panama hat. This is the Ecuador hat.
There you go.
There we go. Okay. It's done.
After a bit more looking and shopping at some of the stunning crafts, Ramon and I headed back to the Plaza Grande.
Well, I know what I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
So we're in Quito. Of course, you know, elevation very high. We need to drink lots and lots of water to acclimate. Where are the really nice public bathrooms?
There are quite a few around here. In fact, right behind me here in the Archbishop's Palace First Courtyard, you have very nice restrooms over there that you can use.
Archbishop's Palace, the best public restrooms. You heard it here. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Sure, I'll wait for you.
Next, I go for a drive across raging torrents and risk life and limb to visit a cloud forest. In Quito, Ecuador, there's Old Town, and then there's New Town. Pretty simple, right? I'm staying at a hotel in the Mariscal neighborhood of New Town.
So Quito, being a capital city, has a wide range of hotels, from luxury to business to